it's Emily Ann, and we are here at my first ever public Yeehaw Meemaw Crochet Club. And we're in Knoxville, Tennessee, my hometown, and I'm so excited about tonight. I'm going to be teaching this blanket right here, and I just wanted to show it to y'all so you could see what it would look like. I did this using only 8 balls of yarn, so it didn't take that much yarn, and I probably could have made it just a couple rows bigger as well, just for you to know. But we will be teaching this tonight, but I wanted y'all to get to have a tutorial as well, and for all the folks who are here at the event tonight, for them to be able to reference back as they continue making their blankets. So if you want to see how to make a simple beginner granny square blanket, you can just keep watching. The supplies I'll be using to make this blanket is loops and thread, soft classic acrylic yarn. It is a medium weight 4 yarn, and I'm using 4 shades: light yellow, off-white, blush rose, and light coral. You can use any medium 4 weight yarn you want to use. You'll also need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle. Now when it comes time to start your crochet project, there are 2 ends of the ball of yarn that you can pull from, and I want to show you which end you want to pull from. This strand right here is off just the outside edge of our ball of yarn. But inside the middle of the ball of yarn is a strand coming from the middle. It's so good to always pull from this middle strand, because when you pull from it, the ball of yarn doesn't move. Whereas if you pull from this strand, you're pulling your ball of yarn all around your workspace. So the first thing you need to do is make a slip knot, and the easiest way to do that is to cross the yarn over itself, just like that. See how it just crosses and makes a little loop in the middle? You're gonna reach through this loop, grab the yarn, and pull it through. And this makes a slip knot, so you can easily pull it out. So I'm gonna show you that one more time. Cross the yarn over itself. You're gonna reach through, pull a strand through, and you have a slip knot. This little piece of yarn right here is your tail. We'll weave that in when we're done with the project. This yarn is connected to our ball of yarn, and that is called our working yarn. So now that we have our slip knot, we're gonna insert our hook into this loop and pull both strands so that we pull the loop tight around the hook. It doesn't have to be super tight. We just want it to be secure around the hook itself. Now it is time to make a chain. Now I am right-handed, and so I hold the hook in my right hand, and then I use my left hand to wrap the yarn around the hook. I also like to hold loosely this tail kind of against the hook when we're first starting out making a chain, so that when I am doing this, look, it doesn't just go all haywire. So we have our tail kind of loose in our right hand. We're going to wrap our working yarn around the back of our chain. I'm going to grab the tail just to give me some stability in my pointer finger and my thumb. And I'm going to pull this loop that we wrapped around our hook through this loop that was our slip knot, okay? So I'm just gonna pull it through. The hook is gonna grab that strand, and it's gonna pull it right through that loop on the hook. That is how you make a chain. We need to make 4 of those for this project. So I'm gonna do that again. Wrap the yarn around. I'm holding that chain that we just made in between my pointer and my thumb of my left hand. Now I'm just gonna pull with my right hand the hook. It's gonna grab that strand that we wrapped around and pull it through the other loop. And that is how you make a chain. Now we have 2 chains. So again, wrap the yarn around, pull through the loop, wrap the yarn around, pull through the loop. Now we have a chain of 4. So you can see those little V's. Those are each chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Since we're making a granny square, we need there to be a circular formation at the beginning. So how we're going to turn this chain of 4 into a circle is we are going to work our hook into our first chain. Now I like to work into the back bumps. I just think they're easier to see and locate. And so if you flip that chain over, see those little ridges? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ridges. We're gonna work in the first chain, the one farthest from the hook. We're gonna insert our hook into that back bump, and we're gonna work something called a slip stitch, which is where you just put the yarn over the hook and you're gonna pull through both loops on your hook. And now we have a ring that we have formed from our chain of 4. Once you have your ring started, you're going to make another set of 3 chains. Now we're officially starting to make our granny square. So using our working yarn, just ignore the tail, okay? Using our working yarn, we're gonna chain 3. So the same thing we just did, yarn over the hook, pull through the loop, yarn over the hook, pull through the loop, yarn over the hook, pull through the loop. This first chain of 3 is acting as a double crochet, which is the stitch we will use throughout this whole blanket, pretty much other than the border, to make our granny square blanket. But this first chain of 3 is going to act as our first double crochet. But now it's time to learn that double crochet stitch. So how you make a double crochet is you put the yarn over the hook, and we're going to be working inside of this ring that we made. So we put the yarn over the hook, insert our hook into the middle of that ring, put the yarn over the hook again, and pull up a loop out of that ring. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over your hook and pull through only the first 2 loops. And see how I'm holding in between my pointer and my thumb this base ring that we made, and I'm kind of pulling. That gives us tension. If I didn't hold that and I'm just kind of pulling around, then everything kind of starts getting floppy and goes haywire. So back to finishing our double crochet stitch. We just put the yarn over and pulled through 2. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. So we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 again. And that is how you make a double crochet. So think of double, think of 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that can help you memorize this stitch. So we need to make 1 more of those. Yarn over the hook, insert into the middle ring, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 only. Yarn over, pull through the second 2. And now you have another double crochet. So this set of 3 double crochets acts as one side of our square. But now you have to turn a corner. So in order to turn a corner, you're going to chain 3 again. So 1, 2, 3. That's going to be our corner space. Now we're going to work 3 more double crochets into this middle ring again. So yarn over, insert into the middle ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, sorry, my tail's getting in the way, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that again. Yarn over, insert into the middle ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One last time, yarn over, insert into the middle ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have another side of our square, but we need to turn the corner again. So chain 3, and we're going to repeat this same thing. 3 more double crochets into our middle ring. Yarn over, insert into that ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, another double crochet, and another. I hope you're starting to see how this is beginning to form a square. We're almost there. We need to do 1 more set of 3 double crochets. But first we have to turn the corner. So chain 3, and now work your last set of 3 double crochets right into that center ring. And now we just need to finish off our square by turning a corner 1 last time. So do 1 last chain of 3, but now we need to attach it. So remember that slip stitch that we did to form our original ring of our chain of 4? We're gonna work a slip stitch 1 more time. So you're not putting the yarn over the hook or anything like that at the beginning. You're gonna go right over here to the top of this first double crochet stitch. Insert your hook right underneath the top of that double crochet stitch. Put the yarn over the hook, and you're just gonna pull through that stitch and pull through the loop on your hook. And now you have joined and made the first round of your granny square. Now the fun thing with granny squares in particular is you can do whatever you want. You can change the colors, you cannot change the colors. You can make just tiny squares like this, or you can turn this beginning of a tiny square into a massive blanket. And that is why I love granny squares so much. Now, if you're watching this and you want to make it totally your own, you do that. But for this pattern that I am creating, I want to do 2 rounds of our granny square pattern for each color. I just think that that's going to give a really pretty finished product. And so that is how I'm going to do it. But if you want to change colors immediately right here, you feel free to do that. But since we are not changing colors, what I'm going to do now is chain 3 to start our second round. Once you learn the first round and the second round, and I guess the third round, but pretty much the first and second of a granny square, you've got it. So you are already halfway there into knowing how to do this and to be real quick and have fun with it. So hang in there, you're going to get there. So we just chained 3 to start our second round of our squares. Now Now this is going to act as the last double crochet at the end of our next round, okay? But we're going to go ahead and move over into this space that we created, this corner space that we created with our chain of 3. So since this is a corner and we need our square to grow, we need another corner right on top of this corner. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But first we need to make another set of 3 double crochets. So yarn over the hook, insert just right into that corner space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Do that again, and then one last time. Great. Now you have one set of 3 double crochets in that corner. From here, you need to turn a corner. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to make a chain of 3, and then working into that exact same corner space, you're going to work another set of 3 double crochets. Just like that. So you see how there's a new corner right off of this corner that we just made. So that's all you're doing in round 2 is working in the corner spaces and expanding this square. So I'm going to show you that another time. Just going immediately over to the next corner space, work another set of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Work another set of 3 chains to turn our corner, and then another set of 3 double crochets. All right, we have 2 out of our 4 corners done. So repeating that same pattern in the next corner space. So we're just going to repeat that same pattern and working into the next corner, work another set of 3 double crochets, another set of 3 chains, and then another set of 3 double crochets. Okay, now I don't want y'all to get confused right here because you might think this is a corner or is this a corner? This was that original chain 3 that we started on. This right here, this chain 3 is our corner space. So we're in our last corner space. We're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 3. And then now, since this first chain 3 acts as a double crochet, we only need to work 2 double crochets right here. 1, 2, and we're just going to work another slip stitch. So starting at the top of that original chain of 3, insert your hook, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through. And now we have joined that together. So now you have a look at 2 rounds of a granny square. You're doing so good. Now it is time to change colors. So we need to cut this yarn and we need to attach a new color. So we're going to take our scissors and we'll leave just about, I don't know, a 4-inch tail or so and snip our yarn. But we need to tie off what we've started. So in order to do that, we're going to take this strand that we've been working with, we're going to wrap it around the hook and we're just going to pull it through that loop and then pull the yarn, and that ties it off and makes a little knot. So now we have 2 tails. If you are a neat freak and you want it to look nice as you work, you can weave in your tails as you go. For me, I like to wait till the very end and weave in all my tails at one time. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to weave in your tails in case you want to do it each time you change colors, and it'll give you a much neater project to follow and learn with. So you have the front of your square and then you have the back of your square. To me, it's very obvious the look of them, but I want you to look at it just so that you are sure. This is the back and this is what the front looks like. You always want to weave your tails in on the back side of your project just to keep the front looking nice and neat. So you're going to take your yarn needle and you are going to put the yarn through your yarn needle. And now you're going to work it into the back sides of your stitches. So what I like to do is just go right under the ridges of the back sides of those sets of 3 double crochets. So I'm just taking that needle and I'm running it underneath those stitches. And I'm pulling that tail through. Now you don't want to pull it super tight because you don't want it to like pull at your project and give it a wonky shape. So we just push it through this way. So now we're going to weave it in the other way. So just going the other direction, we're pushing that needle through and then pulling that yarn through. And just for good measure, we're going to do it one more time. So just take that needle, put it underneath those loops, and pull it through. And that is going to keep it from ever unraveling and keep your ends from showing. Once you have done that, you snip your yarn and then you move on to the next tail. Thread the yarn through the needle. Now this one is coming from the top instead of down here in the middle. So what I like to do is go down the stitch. So I'm going to take this and just work down the stitch. And sometimes I'll even, for good measure, push through whatever the stitches are at the base. Just pull that through. And see, if I pull real tight, see how that makes it real wonky? So you don't want to do that. You just keep it nice and comfortable. Now you're going to work back through. You don't have to go all the way up. I like to just keep it right there at the base. And then back through one more time. And then snip the yarn. And that is how you weave in your ends. Now it's time to add a new color and do the third round of our granny square. So I'm gonna go in with the off-white color, and there are millions of different ways that you can attach yarn, but I'm gonna show y'all what I think is just the easiest, just so that you don't get overwhelmed or anything like that. What you're gonna do is take the new yarn, put it in one of the corners, and you're just gonna tie a knot. Leave yourself just a little bit of a tail to weave in, and attach that yarn right there into a corner space. It is as easy as that. So we have our new color attached. We're gonna insert our hook into the corner space, and we're gonna grab that new color and pull it through that corner space. So now we have it looped on our hook. Now we need to chain 3. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now, the only thing that makes this round different from the second round is we have these side spaces that we need to work through. So with the second round, we were only working corners, but now we have flat edges of our square because our square is growing. So we have this little space in between on our sides of our square, and we need to work into those. So in between your sets of double crochets, if you are not in a corner, you're just gonna work one set of 3 double crochets. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Put the yarn over the hook, insert right in between those 2 sets, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Do that 2 more times. But now we've made it to a corner, so we're gonna work another corner. We do this the same way we worked the last one. When you're working in a corner, you always work 2 sets of 3 double crochets separated by a chain of 3. So I'll show you that again. Yarn over, insert into the corner space, work 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 3 to make your corner, and then work another set of 3 double crochets into that same corner space. Now we made it to another flat side of our square, so we're going to work 1 set of 3 double crochets in between, and now we're back to another corner. So we're going to work 2 sets of 3 double crochets separated by a chain of 3. We're back to one of our edges of our square, so we're going to work in between these 2 sets, 1 set of 3 double crochets. Now we're back to a corner, so we're going to work 3 double crochets separated by a chain of 3 and another set of 3 double crochets. We're on the 4th side, so 1 more individual set, and now we've made it to our last corner, and this looks a little wonky again because of our original chain of 3, but we are working in this corner space right here. If you ever get confused, just look and find your other corners, okay? It'll be right across from there. So we're gonna work 3 double crochets, chain of 3, and since this original chain of 3 counts as a double crochet, we're only gonna work 2, 1, 2. And now we're gonna work a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, go up to the top of that 3rd chain, insert your hook, and pull the yarn through that chain and pull through the loop on your hook. And that joins those. So that is how you do round 3. So you have learned how to chain 4, make a ring, make the first round of your granny square, work into the corners with round 2, and now you have learned how to work into the corners and the sides. So really, by now, you have learned everything you need to know to make all the granny squares you want to make and make it as big as you want to make it, because this pattern just continues and continues. So just to show you what I mean, so right here we are about to start round 4 because I'm doing 2 rounds in the same color for this pattern. So we're going to chain 3, and you'll see that now our side spaces have increased, just like they will with every single time you make a new round. It's all just increasing and increasing and increasing. So now we have 2 spaces on the sides of our square to work into. And we don't have to carry this over. Since we're right above a stitch spot, we're just gonna go ahead and work right into that space that we're above 2 more double crochets. And now you've officially started round 4. Now, when you are working from one side space into another, you never chain 3, you don't chain 1, you don't chain 2, you don't chain anything. You just work immediately from space to space. But when you're in a corner, you always separate the sets of 3 double crochets by a chain of 3. One more thing that I want to say to y'all, I probably should have done this at the beginning, but if you ever mess up or you get confused, say you made it, these first 2 rounds are good, but you messed up here on this round. You don't have to take the whole project apart or throw it all away. This is called frogging, where you just pull your stitches out. So if I had messed up on those 2, I could have just pulled out to right there. Or if I had messed up all the way, I can pull out to right there. So you don't have to take your whole project apart or start over if you mess up. But my best advice is practice, practice, practice. And if you need to make something and then pull it out and try again, do it as much as you need to do it so that you can get comfortable with it. But back to what we were doing, we are starting our 4th row. So here's where we were. We're gonna go immediately into this next space, yarn over, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. And we've made it to a corner. So we're gonna do 1 set of 3 double crochets separated by a chain of 3, and then working into that same space, another set of 3 double crochets. And now we've made it over to another flat side. So you can see right here, 1, 2 spaces for us to work into. So I'm gonna work 1 set of 3 double crochets and then just immediately start working another set of 3 double crochets in that next space. And now we've made it to another corner. So at this point, I hope that you are seeing the pattern. I hope that it is clicking for you and you can see how you just keep going around your square and following whatever it has next for you. It kind of spells it out for you with the corners and the side spaces to let you know what you're doing. So I'm not going to bore you with finishing out round 4. I'll meet you back when I have made it to the end. All right, I've made it to the end of round 4. And we have got to combine these 2 and close out our round. So what I'm gonna do is reach over, put my hook underneath that first chain, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through. Now, since I have done 2 rounds in white, it's time to change colors again. So I'm just gonna pull the yarn through that loop, snip the yarn, pull that through, and I have finished off my round. I'll show you quickly how to weave in those ends one more time if you wanna see. Just on the back side of the project, I'm pulling that tail underneath these loops 3 times. I'm just gonna snip it. And then for the top one, we're gonna push that down the stitch and I'm gonna push it this way so that it goes under the base of those strands, back through this way, and then a 3rd time through. Snip this yarn, and that's what our square is looking like now that it is 4 rounds completed. Now it's time to add our 3rd color. I'm going in with light coral, and we're going to attach this the same way we did last time, right into a corner space and just tie a simple knot. I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera so I don't bore you with it. I'll get through our coral shade as well as our light yellow shade, and then I will show you what it's looking like, and then we can go from there. So I made it to the end of the 2nd row of our light coral shade, so we're just gonna work a slip stitch to join those. We're gonna cut our yarn and then pull this through to tie off that round. So this is what your square should look like after 6 rounds. Now we are going to go in with our light yellow shade, and we're gonna attach that the same way that we've done the whole time and do 2 rounds in light yellow. All right, we have made it to the end of round 8. We just slip stitched. We're gonna tie this off, and just like that, we have got all 4 colors incorporated now. So you can see how it just makes each stripe look a little bit more defined when we do 2 of each, but you can do it however you want to do it. Now, all I'm gonna do is continue this until I reach the desired size of blanket that I want to make. So you could make a baby blanket with this pattern. You could make a big old throw for a bed, or to be comfy on the couch with. You can just customize this as much as you want. And as long as you keep adding rounds, your blanket will just keep getting bigger and bigger. So I'm gonna continue the color pattern of light pink, off-white, light coral, and light yellow. And I will meet you up at the end when it's time to add our border. Hello, so I have the blanket made sheet up as big as I'm gonna make it. I could keep going and keep going and keep going. It's right here in my lap. But we are on our way to the Yeehaw Meemaw crochet event in Knoxville that I am making this blanket for, and I'm not done with it yet. So I'm having to finish it in the car. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do a border on this. The border options are endless. You can look up crochet borders here on YouTube. You can look them up on Pinterest. You can just Google them. There's so many different borders that you could do. You could tie on fringe. You could make puff balls to add on to the corners. You can do a million things, but I'm just gonna do something simple and show y'all just a simple border that you can do to finish off your project. Okay, and also you don't technically have to have a border, but I do think it just makes it look finished. You can pull up a loop in any spot. We're just gonna pull up a new color, and we're gonna chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. And then in every single stitch, I'm just gonna work that same stitch we've been working for our granny squares, the double crochet stitch. I'm gonna work it in every single stitch. So instead of working like in between these sets of 3 double crochets like we've been doing, we're working in the top of each of these V's. And then when you get to a corner space, you work 3 inside the corner, and you can just work them inside this corner space. You don't have to go in each of these chains. But that is what I'm gonna do all the way around the blanket for the first round of our border. All right, so I made it all the way around the blanket, and now I'm just gonna work a slip stitch into this original chain of 3 right here, and we're gonna join this off. And if you want to, you can be done right here. That's what that double crochet border looks like. It's just a simple little border, but I want a little more sparkle. So I'm going to show you how to do a little ruffle shell border. I think that'll be really cute, but like I said, you can do fringe, you can make puff balls, you could keep going and do rows of just this double crochet border. You can do whatever you want. So make it yours, but I'll show you what I'm going to do to mine. Okay, so the shell border is super simple. So to do the shell border, we are going to insert our hook in the middle double crochet of the 3 in the corner, and we're going to pull up a loop in whatever color we want to use. I want to do white, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work 6 double crochets into that corner space. And so for the shell, you need to work 7 in one space, but that chain 3 counted as a double crochet. So that's technically 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, once you have all 7 done, you're going to skip 2 chains, and then you're going to work a slip stitch in that 3rd chain. Then you're just going to yarn over, skip 2 chains, and in the 3rd stitch, you're going to work another shell, which is 7 double crochets in one stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip 2, slip stitch into the 3rd, and you just continue that. And you see how it just gives you this cute little shell border that'll go all the way around the blanket, and then I will show you how we fasten it off at the end. Okay, when you get done with the last shell, you're just going to come around here and work a slip stitch and tie it off. Cut your yarn and weave in your ends. And here is a look at the finished product. This is how the blanket turned out, and I absolutely love it. I think it is so cutie, but I want to encourage y'all to make it your own, however you want to make it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we have a link down below if you would like to donate to Street Hope, the incredible organization that this event in Knoxville, Tennessee is benefiting tonight. You can be a part of the work that they're doing from wherever you are tuning in from. So we love y'all, and we hope we'll get to see you somewhere down the road soon. Bye!